do professional development. And so this is a lesson that I walked by somebody doing one time, and he was an adjunct professor at the College of New Jersey. And I saw him doing this thing, and I was about 7 years into teaching at that time. And for me, brainstorming, whenever I taught brainstorming, or I had students brainstorm during the design process, there wasn't much to it. It was pretty much making lists, right? Writing out lists of things, or in my engineering notebook, when we got to the brainstorming step of the design process, what students would have to do is maybe draw 3 ideas before they pick their favorite one or the best solution in the next step of the design process. So I would say, draw 3 things and circle the best one. And inevitably, kids would always come up to me after they drew their first thing or wrote about it and come up and say, "Can I do this?" And I'd say, "No, you have to have 3 ideas." And they might go back and give me 2 pieces of junk, so that they can still be able to do their first idea. And I didn't see anything wrong with it. Didn't necessarily say they were on it, but when I walked by this classroom and saw this guy, Phil Hamill, teaching this lesson, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous." Like, it changed everything for me for brainstorming. And so ever since that time, I've always introduced brainstorming as its own separate skill for the design process, and use this technique with students. And then whenever they got into any design challenge, at a minimum, this would be a way for them to document their brainstorming process, and also a way for them to select an idea, which when they move on to their final solution. And I want to pause on that for a second. Throughout the design process, you go from one type of thinking to the next, and that's convergent to divergent, convergent to divergent. And so when we do research, we're converging on facts and information, right? We're closing in on data. And then when we get to brainstorming, we're supposed to be divergent and be able to come up with lots of ideas and think outwardly without stopping, not just coming up with the first thing that pops into our head. And so after we diverge in brainstorming to pick the best solution, we go back to converge, right? Convergent thinking. So think about that, because standard 8.2 and design thinking, I think, really gets into what is not inquiry, but what is design, and what it means to be able to be iterative, to be able to brainstorm, to be able to come up with lots of ideas without stopping, or putting any ideas down, and trying to turn brainstorming into something that you can get better at, and then also use to measure and assess something during the design process, that step of the design process. So without further ado, let me start this lesson. And Danielle, do you mind if I ask what grade level you might be at? Because I would use this lesson in any grade level. It's just a matter of how much I might be holding students responsible for on their papers when they do it, and how much I'm doing with them. Okay, great, middle school. So I put in the chat window a pre-recorded version of this lesson I did with 5th graders up at the board, at a whiteboard, but there really wasn't any setup to that video. You just see the lesson here. Okay, cool. And so what I often do when I start one of these lessons is I pretend that, let me share my screen here. I pretend that I'm the student's boss, and they all work for me, and we all work for some company. And let's see how we're doing here. All right, so can everybody see out the window of the hotel here? Beautiful out there. We're out here on our company retreat, our annual company retreat, and all of you work for Anderson Incorporated. And here at Anderson Incorporated, we come up with really novel products that we think we can sell out there to the public in our infomercials. And we get really energetic people to pitch these, pitch men and women to go out there in these commercials and sell these things for us. And here in our annual company retreat, all of you are working for me as the brainstorming crew. And so we've been tasked to come up with some ideas for a product that would be recession proof, something that people would use even if they didn't have a lot of money. They'd still want to spend it on something. And our research team came up with the idea for hygiene products like soap, because it's something where they still see a great big market for it. So our job today here is to do the brainstorming for lots of ideas for bars of soap. And then we don't have to pick the best idea. We just have to come up with a lot of them. And we're going to put these out to to the next design part of the design team, who's actually going to take one of these ideas and run with it. So if you look out the window there, you can see the beautiful beach. I brought you to a really nice tropical island for our retreat, and you can probably smell the pig that's roasting out there right now. It's been roasting under the sand for a couple hours, and we're going to go out there and we're going to get to enjoy that as soon as we get done with our brainstorming session. I hear there are vegetarian options as well. There's fresh seaweed that washes up on the beach twice a day, actually. I'm just kidding. I was a vegetarian once for a couple weeks. All right. So your job here, everybody, your job here right now, if you would do this for me on a piece of paper, we're going to use these ideas for our exercise. I just want to see what your brainstorming techniques are, right? This is what I'd be saying to my students. I want to see what your best brainstorming technique is. So on a piece of paper, come up with as many ideas as you can for a new bar of soap that no one's ever seen before. And the only stipulation is that it's supposed to be a solid. All right, the soap would be in solid form. All right, now I would give the class 2 or 3 minutes, and people would start to put ideas down, and students start to ask questions like, well, what am I supposed to put on the paper? I said, put your ideas down on the paper. And they said, what do I do? Do I draw? I said, whatever you think is your technique for capturing lots of ideas. And so as I walk around, I can see a lot of students making lists on their paper. Like they'll write out an idea for a bar of soap and make one long list. Or I might see them draw out a bar of soap, right? Maybe they label it or something. But predominantly there's those two techniques. And sometimes I'll see students make like a cloud burst or one of those spider web things where you start with an idea and then it branches out to other clouds, you know? Right. And I ask the room, I say, now after 3 minutes, I say, how many people have 1,000 ideas in their paper? No? Oh, okay. Some of these just look like polar bears in a snowstorm right now on these papers. And I say, okay, well, who has 100? Oh, about 10? You know, and then I get down to about 10, some people that will have that many on their paper. And what I point out to students is at that point is that look at these ideas you came up with. You're all giving me the final idea, like the bar of soap at the end, what it would look like. And they say, well, yeah, you asked us for ideas for bars of soap. And I said, well, let's take this idea of a bar of soap and break it into some features or some observable features of a bar of soap. And if we can brainstorm those features one at a time, we don't have to think about the whole bar. So I'm going to switch my lights over. And if you want to draw a morph chart on your piece of paper as well at home, you can. And I like to use an 11 by 17 piece of paper, something that's bigger. All right. And I've got a marker here, a pencil. Let me switch over the lights and the camera. See how this looks here. All right, can you still hear me and see me okay? All right, cool. So can anybody give me an idea out there, some observable features for a bar of soap if we were to make some categories up?
Shape.
Yeah, shape could be a category.
Texture.
Texture.
Danielle said color.
Color. I was anticipating that. That's why I waited for it to go in the second row there. Another one?
Smell. Ooh.
Smell.
Jinx.
How about, give me another one.
I know this might be funny, but because so many of these have to do with your different senses, I was thinking sound. I know most soap doesn't make sound, but that doesn't mean that our new great invention soap can't make a sound.
It's a good point. So I put size here, you know, and sometimes students will say taste or something else, you know, and I don't know how pleasant that would be, but we could I'll put miscellaneous down here as my 6th category. And Dave, that idea you had will be
fair enough.
There. Yeah. So let's turn this into a chart, and I'm going to work off rows here. So each one of these categories will be a row. And so the idea to a morph chart which I think in the engineering world, they might refer to this as a feature matrix. And we'll talk about some applications for these later. But we call it a morph chart. We'll show you why in a second. Now here's here's some of the rules for the game of the morph chart. You're going to tell me ideas that you want to put up here, and instead of thinking of the whole bar soap, we're just going to brainstorm a number of shapes, possible shapes. Then we're going to brainstorm a number of colors, textures, smell, size, miscellaneous features. And the thing is, when you tell me your idea, you have to tell me what to draw here, because I'm only going to use pictures, right? And now if I had colored pencils, and if I had done a lesson maybe on some color theory one day prior to a lesson like this, sketching and drawing lesson could be helpful prior to this. That's usually where this comes in if I'm doing this in a intro to tech cycle. But the rule being that if I only have a black marker, when we get to something like color, you're going to tell me a color, but you have to tell me what to draw that would represent that color. So that if anybody else who happened to look at this page to look at our brainstorming, even if they didn't speak the same language as us, our ideas would still universally communicate. And that can be tough for some ideas, as we may find, but let's just give it a shot now. And I don't want to hear any boring stuff either, right? So when we do shapes, don't say things like circle, square, triangle, all right? Give me a good challenge to try to draw them. All right, so let's go with...
Chris, before you get started, do you allow any text? I mean, obviously the rows on the left, but going forward, will you put any text on this?
No, I'm only going to use pictures. And it's going to be tough at some points. And when it gets tough, we have to hang in there and persevere and get through it until we come up with something, even if it kind of drags on there. And what happens is if I teach it as a standalone lesson and then I reinforce it with, now you come up with your own product, and then we'll pick categories for you in class, then you're going to go home and brainstorm them. And maybe I'll tell them they have to use colored pencil at home. That would be like an assignment to reinforce this, but during the design process, I may let them do it with just words, so that when they're doing their engineering notebook later, right, it's something that they're not getting hung up on necessarily drawing the picture, but they have the option of it. Because in certain things, right, certain design challenges, just writing it isn't going to be as effective as maybe drawing me a little picture. Just to give you a quick example of that, I had a hydroponic system, and students were coming up with, everybody had to use a soda bottle, right? And they're making a hydroponic system out of it. And previous to brainstorming during the research step, they had to go around to stations and figure out if this plant was growing out here, and they had the water down here and a wick that came through. They had to go to a station, experiment with different materials and see what would make a good wick, and then come up with different ways to agitate the wood, or another station, and then come up with other ways to build onto this in a way that they could insulate this but still see the water level. And these different stations that they did as their research step turned into, now come up with ideas for your system for different materials that could wick water, different ways to agitate water, different ways that you could insulate, and certain things that a picture might end up actually being more helpful. All right, so let's get back to our tropical island. I can smell the pig roast out there. Okay, now I'm going to take your ideas. Let's get started. I already see Danielle's got some stuff up here. Starfish. Zoom in here a little bit. You got the starfish. Somebody give me another one.
Polar bear.
Polar bear.
Seashell.
Seashell. What kind of seashell? we have to see if we can redraw this polar bear. All right, I got the seashell.
There you go, like that. That's you read my mind. That one.
All right. Other shape?
How about race car?
Race car.
Oh, we'll really see your engineering there. I'll say you're a way better drawer than I'll ever be, though. So, oh, there you go.
Let's do 6. So we'll come up with 6. We got 4, Dinosaur.
Animals are
Chris-
very popular.
Chris just wants to draw a dinosaur. That's his excuse.
It's an herbivore. It's eating plants. All right, we got 6 here. No, we need one. We need one more. One more shape.
Hammer.
A hammer. Fit this one in here. Yeah, so if I taught 2D or 3D drawing prior to this, which I normally try to do in a sequence, this would be a way for them to practice some of their 2D and 3D. You know, if I taught color theory, we could express some of the different ideas in here besides the color row. But color could be used to suggest emotion and just to suggest things like temperature. All right. Okay, cool. Let's go to color. So you're going to tell me a color and how to draw it. What do I put there that would let everybody know that color?
Sun.
What's that?
Draw a sun, represent yellow,
Sun.
or a banana. I don't know.
Okay. Color the sun. Another one. Rainbow. Rainbow, so we can represent all the colors at once here. This is going to cut into my polar bear a little bit. Rainbow. Another one?
A pumpkin for. Ooh,
Pumpkin for orange.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to help you guys. We're going to, for these last 3, right? I want to get 3 different ideas up here. I want to come up with invisible, glow in the dark, and transparent. That's 3 different concepts here. Invisible, glow in the dark, and transparent. And at this point, I might ask them to talk to one another next to each other at the table and say, you know, and share their ideas with one another, right? Because we're trying to, these are 3 things that could seem similar, right? All right. Want to give me an idea for invisible?
Radioactive. Oh, invisible. I had for neon or glowing radioactive waste.
There's glowing, glows in the dark, invisible,
A ghost.
ghost. And transparent. What's something that's transparent? A raindrop.
There you go.
Excellent. Nice job, everybody. Nice job. All right. Textures. Some textures for this bar of soap. Tell me how to draw it.
Pebbles, bumpy, like pebbles.
Some pebbles. And how would you know they're pebbles if I do a bunch of little round things? How would you know they're not that? Well, I guess if you mistook them for jelly beans, right, it would still be okay because we're talking about the right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Another one. Well, you think of another one. I'm going to put some. I'm going to put a little song on in the background. It's real light, good brainstorming music. Okay, smooth. No idea how to draw it. What's smooth out there? I know what you mean. Because if we just do like a sheet of glass, how would you know that it was a sheet of glass?
Window pane.
Smooth like a window pane.
How about like a billiard ball? Like just an 8
Or
ball
bowl, yeah.
or a bowling ball.
Smooth like a bowling ball. Nice. I'll make sure you know that's not a coconut. I have to put some bowling pins in the background. You know what? I gotta congratulate you two, your guys too, at this point, because sometimes in some classes, right, they will start to. There'll be somebody in the room, or more than somebody, who has an idea for their final bar of soap, and they're gonna want to make that bar of soap no matter what the morph chart says. And so I start getting this beach theme that comes through here. You know what I mean? Where like everything that all the shapes are things from the beach. You know, where they're all living things and nothing is an inanimate object. Right. And this is what so what we want to look for is if we end up in a situation where there's like where we instead of diverging, we start converging, and you see things that are totally similar on here. You can stop kids and say, hey, take a look at the last thing that we did. All right, we got to get out of this pattern we're in here. I want you to come up with something that's the opposite of the thing we just put here. You might think, well, what's the opposite of a pumpkin? You know, it's like, well, that's up to you. A pumpkin's a living thing. Can we have a non-living thing? A pumpkin is orange. Can you think of a color that you think is complementary to orange on the color wheel? It's on the other side. You know, different ways to get us out of a convergent pattern and get thinking outwardly and not be thinking of the whole solution, the final solution at the end. You know, I get a beach theme where it's like it's a seashell and the color is the color of the beach, and then the texture is the texture of sand, and then the smell is going to be the smell of the suntan lotion. I'm like, whoa, where we go? You know. All right, smells. What do we got for smells?
Chocolate.
Coffee. All right, I'll put some coffee here.
Danielle said sweet like a flower.
Chocolate. All right, so I need a Hershey Kiss here. Sweet like a flower. Maybe we'll do a rose for the flower. Another one, another smell.
Sawdust.
I was just thinking that.
I've really enjoyed choosing this music for you, and I hope you're going to enjoy listening to it. So on this little disc, I'm going to play you one or two reasons why I think you will.
How's that for my back saw?
That's pretty good.
All right, some sawdust. Point to the sawdust down there. Smell sawdust. How about, can you guys guess this smell? I gave you a hint. It's not
Cool
ice cream.
Whip.
That's steam coming off
cool,
there.
Definitely,
That's not.
definitely Cool Whip, Chris.
Nope, this is poo.
And it looks like you draw this a lot, Chris, because you drew that very quickly, and it was very, very good.
I couldn't wait to get to it. Yeah, this is a point of trying. This is a plant for a reason, right? There's no bad ideas of brainstorming. So you might think, well, you wouldn't want to have soap that smells like poo, right? And in reality, there's somebody who might. They might want to go to Spencer's, pick up some soap that's red, shaped like a heart, but it doesn't smell like cinnamon, right? And it's for kids who get taken to their parents' party, and they have a big dinner party with a bunch of adults. They don't want to be there, so they get this soap and they swap it out in the bathroom with the other soap, and they watch as all the guests come in before hors d'oeuvres, and people come out and they wash their hands. Then they come out of the bathroom and they're going, wait a minute, I must have not washed very well. What is it? And they go back in the bathroom. Now they're scrubbing up their whole arm with the stuff.
Chris, are
You know what
are you speaking from experience? Did
No.
you do this malicious act,
No, I was good.
or was it done to you?
When I was a little kid, I was goody. But no, I actually saw Mr. Phil Hamill use that one specifically in his lesson. And so, but let's say I put something up here, and be like, you would never be a soap, soap. There'd be no reason there'd ever be a soap for whatever. It's something I put up here, and that may be the case. Somebody puts an idea up here, and it's like, that could never be a good idea. And you know what? Put it up here anyway. We don't put any ideas down, because a bad, you know what makes bad seem really bad? When you put bad next to something that's really good. Good doesn't look as good till it's next to something bad, and bad is never as bad till it's next to something good. You need the dichotomy to understand the two, right? And so sometimes having ideas up there that are terrible ideas can really become the antithesis of something good that stands out, or these ideas could come up being useful later. So the point is that during brainstorming, we're trying to teach kids specifically in this lesson, hey, we don't ever put any ideas down. You never know what could turn into inspiration for something else. All right, smoky fire or a candle? I like that one. Let's get a little candle action going there. Candle action.
Good.
All right, Mr. Cohen just joined us with his kids. All right, we're done. This is great. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smells. All right, now we're moving into sizes. Sizes. Give me ideas for sizes for a bar soap. How big could a bar soap be?
3 by 5, like an index card.
Like an index card. So I'm going to put a hand back here just for reference there. So not 3 by 5. Another size.
Quarter.
What was that?
The size of a quarter.
The size of a quarter?
Yep.
5.
500?
5 feet. No, 5
Feet.
feet.
Just
Oh,
5.
I like the way you're thinking there. I like the way you're thinking, because we should get a bar soap that is the size of a refrigerator. 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. How cool? How cool would that be if they brought a bar soap to your house and it was the size of a refrigerator? All right, and I just got to switch my camera for effect here.
So then you go
Come to your house with a refrigerator with this giant thing on a hand truck, like bringing a bar soap into your house. It only happens every 5 years because it's so big, But then you can take a shower like this with the bar soap. How cool would that be?
Well, is it hollow like a fridge? So you go inside it, and then you know what I mean? You can rub up against all sides.
Hold that idea for the miscellaneous category.
I think we're like reinventing
really
how to
crazy.
shower right now. I think that
Oh,
we
yeah.
just broke the system.
Let's switch
Never
back over
ordering
here.
new soap.
So Now let's come back to other sizes. Other sizes of bar soap could be.
The size of your hand, like
We
draw a
got-
glove.
We got that with a 3x5, I think, because I got the hand under it already. Well, microscopic, so small you'd have to look at it under a microscope.
Only like a
The size of Clifford, the big red dog.
Clifford, the big red dog.
So my kids picked that today, actually, when we did our morph charts.
Oh, did you do more charts today?
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to teach. I didn't tell you?
No.
Oh,
We did it for t-shirt ideas today.
well, we got two morph chart teachers for the price of one.
There's Clifford. All right. This is great. So we got six of them. Now look at this chart, guys. So we're brainstorming ideas for a bar soap. We've got all these different shape ideas, right? We've got the starfish, the polar bear, the seashell, hammer, a race car, and a dinosaur, Brontosaurus, or the Paleosaur. And then we have colors, color of the sun, rainbow, pumpkin, glow in the dark nuclear waste, invisible like a ghost, or the color transparent like the rain. For textures, like the way it would feel when you touch the bar soap on the outside, we've got bumpy like pebbles, smooth like a bowling ball, sticky like a piece of gum on the bottom of your shoe, real stringy like spaghetti and meatballs. That's spaghetti. Or it could be soft, like fluffy like a pillow. That'd be neat for a bar soap. Or it could have ridges on it like one of those potato chips. You know, potato chips, the Pringles. Smells. It could smell like a cup of coffee. It could smell like chocolate. That's a Hershey Kiss. It could smell like roses and flowers, sweet flowers. It could smell like sawdust. That's a saw. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It could smell like dog poo. Ew. Or it could smell like a like when you just light a candle. That smoky fire smell. It could be as big as your hand, the size of a quarter, the size of a refrigerator, the size of a book, microscopic, or the size of Clifford the dog. All right, now our last category, is called miscellaneous. So if you could do something else to the bar soap, like it could have a special feature, or it could have something else that it's attached to, or it could have a magic power, anything you wanted to have with the soap. My grandpop, I remember, we gave him a bar soap for Christmas, and it said on the package, this bar soap either has a $1 bill, a $5 bill, or a $50 bill in it. Didn't you know my grandpa, we couldn't find him at dinner time because he was upstairs in the bathroom scrubbing the bar soap as fast as he could to try to see what was inside there? It ended up being a 1. All right. What would you want to have for your bar soap? I just said I want to have a bar soap that when you wash, eventually if there's a present inside. What was that idea?
bar soap.
What's that one?
Ornament bar soap. Ornament bar soap.
An ornament? Oh my gosh. So we're gonna have like a Christmas tree, right? And you're gonna have it where it's like an ornament that hangs from the tree, right? Cool. Point to that ornament. Another one.
So the idea about sound was like it sings a song or plays a song when you wash with it. Musical soap.
It has a toothbrush attached to it, so you do all-in-one shopping or all-in-one washing.
A toothbrush. That's the toothbrush. That's the toothbrush. All right.
Danielle, got flavors, so if it gets in your mouth, it doesn't taste bad.
Oh wow. How do I draw that? So I make like a big mouth open with the tongue sticking out, and they're about to eat the soap.
What about it tastes good, like, you know, tastes like candy or it tastes like chocolate, like not just smells like it, but
Yeah, you could eat it like you could skip breakfast.
Right. That's really one-stop shopping because, right, you take your shower and have your breakfast at once. It's great.
Yeah, sausage egg McMuffin in the shower.
And then you brush your
Okay.
Brush your teeth.
And any
Come on, draw the golden arches. Golden arches.
for what? For McDonald's?
The egg McMuffin.
All right,
just-
we can do that.
Well, it's easy to draw,
McDonald's.
right?
It's funny. The only thing I get at McDonald's is the fish fillet, and I just realized this year that was the only option that's not meat. Right? All right, actually, there's chicken though, but they're not supposed to be known for the fish fillet. All right, so this is like the breakfast, Sammy. So if it's gonna be breakfast time, I need to do like maybe a clock, so you know what time it is. Because I'm not cheating because I'm not using any words. So what's a good time for breakfast? 5 a.m. Right? Wow, this is so cool. All right, we're almost finished. I know I went over the whole chart a second ago to review it, everybody, all the different ideas that we had. All right, let's turn that music off here. But something I should really do before we continue is just give everybody a big round of applause. What a great job you've done so far. Completing the whole chart. Good job, everybody. Good job, boys. All right, now what we have to do is we're going to pick. Now, let's say I was in the design process, and again, before this, I researched stuff with soaps, and then I came up here with my brainstorming chart, my morph chart, and now I want to go from this to maybe now turn this into 3 possible ideas. Or come up with your one favorite solution. All right. And you know what? I'm reminded of this, Danielle. I want to make sure he's smiling down here. So I got to put some dimples there that he's smiling because he's so happy he's eating the soap. I don't want people to think he's being punished. All right. Now to get to our to go from being divergent to converge on one idea, now we're going to pick our favorite one from each row, and I'm going to circle it in red. All right, so I need your help, everybody, to come up with our favorite idea. Which one of these do we want for shape? If I was in my classroom, I might let people yell out loud. I might have people raise their hands, take a vote. Which shape do we want? Boys, which shape do you want?
Which shape? Pick a shape.
Starfish, polar bear, seashell, hammer.
Troy's yelling giraffe. Troy wants a giraffe, but we know it's a dinosaur, so we'll go dinosaur.
Dinosaur. You know what I heard about dinosaurs and giraffes? It's horrible for them. Whenever they get a sore throat, it's terrible.
We know that's what Chris wanted too, so it works out. It works
What
out
color
well.
do we want? What color do you want? Like the sun, rainbow, pumpkin, glow in the dark, invisible, transparent.
Rainbow.
Yay.
Rainbow. Now we're on textures. What it feels like.
Soft.
Soft
Good
like your pillow.
Soft like a pillow? Yeah.
You got it.
Oh, that was the one.
What smell would you like it to smell like?
Poopy diapers.
We've got
Rose.
Oh, rose.
it's going to be gross smelling.
Rose. No, rose.
Oh, like the
The
rose.
flower, the rose.
All right, we got it smelling like a rose. And what size? How big?
Big size.
This.
The book.
Book. Penny. Coin.
The penny. The quarter.
Size of a quarter. Size of a coin. Excellent. And what extra feature would you like it to have at the bottom here? An extra feature. Does it have a gift inside? Is it turn into an ornament? Does it play music? Are you able to brush your teeth with it? Does it taste good? Or is it going to taste like a breakfast sandwich from McDonald's?
These from the bottom.
No.
How about McDonald's? McDonald's? Yeah, there's one McDonald's.
No.
Ornament
wants-
was Ornament was one of your guys' ideas.
Let's do ornament. Do ornament. That was your idea.
Ornament.
Yay.
So maybe
All right,
like,
sweet.
so ornament, we already did shape. So what is it? What's the special power? Like maybe it lights up kind of like an ornament, or it's like glittery like an ornament, or
Look.
something like that. Okay.
So what this allowed us to do is take these ideas. Now we're morphing these different ideas from each category into one special idea. And so you guys want to have a tree, and it's got these ornaments on it that are actually the colors of, I was looking for my other markers.
Right.
I don't want to get up to grab, but it's going to be a rainbow of colors. So you're going to have all different colors on here. So imagine that this was all different colors. Roy G. Biv, red, yellow, orange, green, blue, violet. And
it's not shaped. It's not shaped round.
it's super soft to the touch. When you touch it, it's actually soft. So it's not hard like a regular ornament. You could actually go to sleep on this ornament as a pillow if you wanted to. And when you get up close to it, it's going to make the whole Christmas tree smell super sweet, like roses and flowers, right? And it's only the size of a quarter. So we're going to actually be able to fill up the Christmas tree with tons of these things, right? They're going to be little, like the size of a quarter. And the shape of it, oh, wait a minute. We picked the dinosaur shape, right?
Right.
Is that why everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy? Yeah, interject here, please. This has to be shaped like a dinosaur. So maybe it could come with all different kinds of dinosaurs.
Maybe the dinosaur can wear the ornament around its neck.
Yeah. Got Triceratops on here.
Ooh, nice. T-Rex. That's good.
How about a Dilophosaurus?
So I had a student one time, I had, the morph chart, like I had a student who was trying to make a some type of this Halloween sculpture, and it was going to have this Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper was going to be carrying something in his hand. And I remember we got down to that as from one morph chart, but then he came up with a whole other morph chart just to figure out what the Grim Reaper would be carrying, So a morph chart something that could go deeper. But here's the power of the morph chart. What did I say in the beginning was the constraint where I had I was only getting 3 ideas, right, from students when I first started teaching, right? That's all I would ask for at the brainstorming step, and it would be the whole idea at one time. How many potential bars of soap? How many different unique bars of soap do we have the potential for if we made combinations where we have 6 features here, 6 different features, and we had 6 variations? It's more than 17. Keep going.
6 to the 6th?
Yep, 6 to the 6th power. Right? 6 to the 6th power. So how many possible bars of soap is that? Let's pull up the calculator. 6 to the 6th power. Anybody got it?
46,656.
46,000? Is that what you said?
656. 46,656.
Oh my goodness. So this is why this technique blew my mind, right? It has exponential power. We just came up with, literally in 30 minutes, 46,000 possible ideas for a bar of soap. I wasn't kidding when I asked you at our retreat here a couple minutes ago, how many ideas do you think we could come up with in just a short period of time? Right? And so let me switch back over here to myself so you can see me. So that is the morph chart in a nutshell, because that's usually what I stick with, 6 categories, 6 features, something like that, because it fits on a nice big piece of paper, and it adds so much more depth and breadth to what you do at the brainstorming step. It really forces students to have to be divergent and have to come up with lots of ideas before they would pick their best one. And for homework assignment from my students, I might say, okay, now you're gonna have to morph something yourself. All right. And so I want you guys to quickly give me an idea here. If I told you you had to invent a new sweatshirt that nobody ever saw before, what could your categories be for a new sweatshirt nobody ever saw before? You're going to invent a new sweatshirt.
Fabric.
We could have the fabric that it's made of. What else? We could have the lining. That could be different, right? It could have graphics on the outside. Or prints.
Smells.
No, I said pictures. Pictures.
Yep, pictures. We got pictures here.
Style. Like, I guess, like the different styles of hoodies or something.
Yeah, like how does it go on? Right? Like, is it a zipper? Is it hook and loop? Is it Velcro? Is it buttons? And so there's two different things. We got the style for it, and then also, I guess, like how it goes on. But you get my drift here. And in real engineering, people do this. My buddy has a company where he works for a company that somebody comes to them with a yacht. Somebody just bought a yacht or a big huge boat, and then his job is to figure out what the different systems on the boat are going to be that they're going to go with, and what they're going to use for their power system, their electrical generators, what they're going to use for communication systems on the thing. And they go through all the different ideas for this thing, and then they present them to their clients. And it's also a way for them to show clients lots of ideas to give the client choice.